Hello, and welcome back to Mindfully Rich Podcast, your weekly mindful look at life and finances with a twist. I'm your host, RichE, and y'all, today I'm a little overwhelmed with joy and nervousness for this episode, and it's just cracking me up inside. I don't know what it is. It's like I have a funny story that I want to share with y'all. It's a meaningful story, but I'm a little nervous about telling it just because I've never said this out loud. But before I get into all of that, I want to tell y'all about my day today. So it's Monday, 4/20, and this quarantine must really be getting to me now because it had me messed up for a second. I was in here doubting my juice. I was like, are the people really messing with you? Are they listening to the podcast? Do they like it? Like something just came and just overwhelmingly took over my spirit, making me think that I wasn't good enough for some reason. But you know what? It couldn't have been about 30 minutes later after I was having those thoughts that my Lord, he sent all the angels out to make sure that I knew you still got the juice. You got that juice, Look at me. So literally 30 minutes after I was having these bad thoughts, my sorority sister, she called me and said, where's my episode? And I was like, girl, I didn't even know that you was listening like that. So that first made me feel really good just because you put the podcast out there, you want people to listen, but you never, I don't want to be all up in everybody's face. Like, did you listen? How you like it? Is it good? So I don't normally do that. So when I received that from her, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to go ahead and get this episode together. Then I received a LinkedIn message, and I also received a DM from one of my old friends, and I was just like, you know what? The Lord did not want me to be down. He wanted to make sure that you still know, no matter what you're doing on this journey, I have put you on a mission for a reason. No matter, even if you can't see the results, you are on this mission for a reason. So it gave me the motivation that I needed to go on ahead and get this done today. And so I just want to shout out my sorority sister, Keisha. I want to give a shout out to Nick and also to Estella. Thank y'all so much, just because I was really doubting myself today, and y'all came through with some messages that really touched my heart, and I just really wanted to make sure that I got that out there. And you know what? For any of y'all out there, if you start doubting yourself, you're going to see throughout this episode, it's going to be lots of encouragement going on. But when you're doubting yourself, look out for those little signs. And so I appreciate God sending those angels into my life today. And I want to go ahead and get into what we discussed on last week's episode. So last week was the What You Know credit report episode, and I talked about why checking your credit report is important, how your credit score is calculated, which is more important, your credit report or your credit score. And I think I talked about all of the aspects of your credit report and how everything is calculated. That's what I believe I talked about. But I had planned on continuing to talk about credit this week, but the Lord put on my heart something else to talk about. So y'all come on back next week to hear more about credit. But before I get into today's topic, I got to give a shout out to my girl, China. She interviewed me on her platform, Always Relevant TV, on IG last week. Y'all, this was such a great interview. I mean, we talked about everything from what to do with your stimulus check, how to fix your credit if you're in a fixing position, budgeting, saving. We even got down to estate planning, getting on down to life insurance. I mean, it was such a great conversation. And at first, we were both a little bit like, how is this going to be? Just because China's my real friend. And so this is my friend that I kick it with, I do business with, and do hood rat stuff on the weekends with. So, we cool. So, but during this interview, we wanted to make sure that we brought something good for the people. And when I tell y'all it was great, I saved some clips on my IG page. It's in the highlights section. So if you're not following me, I'm at Mindfully Rich. You can go check that out. And then if you want to see some of the hottest interviews, go and check my girl China out at Always Relevant TV. So moving on to today's music title inspiration, it comes from one of my favorite rappers. I told y'all this a couple of weeks ago. I think it was even just last week. T.I.P., Motivation. I don't know if y'all know this song, but this song has got me through some days. I put this on when I go work out, put this on when I just need some inspiration. It's such a great song. And I know that I say that every week, but literally motivation, the chorus itself, yes, it's a bunch of cuss words in there, but it's a really good song. Got to check that out. So this week is Motivation Financial Freedom episode. And before I get started telling y'all the story for today, I got to tell y'all that just like I mentioned earlier, today, well, it's now 421, but y'all act like it's 420, okay? So today is one of the best and worst days of my life, but it was a day that I regained my confidence and my voice. And what I mean by that is I was in a position where I had lost my confidence because I was in the middle of my divorce. And if you know anything about going through divorce, it was a roller coaster ride of up and down emotionally, physically. I mean, it was just hard on me, y'all. And so on this day 3 years ago at that competition, I was so excited because I felt so empowered to get my voice out there. And let me tell y'all this story. Go ahead and pull up a seat. So the competition, you had to make a speech talking about what financial freedom meant to you. And so I had came up with something really good, and I'm going to tell y'all about that in a second. But I was going up against a total of 8 people. 2 of those people, they worked at my job because at my job, we had like a internal speech competition and 25 people applied and I was one of 3 who moved forward. And so one of the people who worked at my job who I was going against was a guy that I used to like. So me and this guy, we had just talked on a little level for a second, not anything too deep or whatever, just talking, we had went out before and, we had a good time, and he hit me with the bomb. Oh my goodness, ladies, hit me with the bomb. You cool, but I wasn't trying to date anybody who has kids. And I'm like, what? So that was the first time that I realized, I guess, guys, there are some guys out there in the world who don't date women who have kids. And so when he hit me with that one, I was like, cool, I can't blame him just because these are my children. But truth be told, my kids don't need another dad, like they have a dad. Okay. So it's like, I always be like, what you mean? Like you can't, you will be a step parent, so it's like, I'm always looking at it like that. And so it was one of those where, it ended because he didn't want to date a woman with kids and with older kids, as he told me. And so this man at the speech competition, y'all, we're there at the competition and we're about to sit down. And when I tell you, he comes in with his new girlfriend, sits at my table right across from me, right? So I'm still feeling a certain type of way because of, how everything ended up. Like I said, I can't be mad at him, but still, I still got feelings though. Sit right in front of me at this speech competition where I'm first on the list. I have to get up there first and do my speech. And so he comes in, sits down, and I tell you, my girl Lisa was there with me, and I was just like, look, I can't do this. I need all the drinks. She was like, no, you don't. You finna sit down. You finna chill out. God with you. You finna get up there and you finna kill it, right? So I'm sitting there. He's sitting there with his girlfriend. We're all sitting there, and then it's time for me to get up there and go do this speech. I prayed so hard, y'all, because my brain was so discombobulated at that point. I don't know if you've ever been in a heated situation. Oh, and let me also tell you what else had went on that day. That same day, I had just got served paperwork to submit my income for my divorce. So telling y'all, this is a part of the worst part of the day. You see how the worst part is coming all together? So worst part, getting served divorce papers, more information that I had to submit, and then sitting across from a guy that I used to like and his new girlfriend at the speech competition that I'm trying to win, by the way, okay? So I get up there and I go first and I talk about what financial freedom means to me. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what it is that I said. I used an analogy of what financial freedom looks like to me. And it looks like a buffet. When we go to the buffet, you don't tell all your people when you at the buffet, all right, y'all, just grab just a little bit. No, when you at the buffet, you eating everything. I mean, everything. When I used to go to the buffets, I don't really frequent the buffets right now or for the last 3 years or so. But when you're at a buffet, it's all you can eat. And that's what I want my financial situation to look like. I want it to be unlimited. Now, when I say unlimited, I don't mean unlimited in a greed way. I mean unlimited to the choices that I'm able to make for me and my children. Just because I grew up, I'm not going to say poor, because some people will criticize you for saying poor just because that means no money. I'll say it like this. There are lots of people who had more than me. I still grew up not knowing that I didn't have as much until I was in high school. And so when I was younger, I used to go visit who I called my rich cousins. And the reason why I said they were my rich cousins is because they would go out to eat just because it's Tuesday. I mean, we wasn't doing that at the crib. They was just having a good time. We would go, I mean, they would buy all the gifts and tell me I can go out and go get stuff. I mean, that's why I called them my rich cousins. And I used to love their house. They taught me a lot, and I got a chance to see life through a different lens while I was at their house. And so that was a rich lifestyle for me. And one of the reasons why I named this Mindfully Rich, although it's a part of my last name, but rich doesn't have to mean money. And getting back to how I look at financial freedom, I look at it as being able to have unlimited choices, to be able to take care of my family and do the things that I need to do without sitting here being hindered by not having money. And so I got up there and I talked about that passionately for about 5 minutes. And it was such a good speech, y'all. And turns out I ended up winning the whole speech competition. And when I tell y'all, not that I was shocked, just because I knew that I had some power in my speech. My speech was really, really good. But it was so much that was going on before I had to give the speech that I was thinking, dang, am I still going to be up here to get up here with that same veracity that I had before I saw dudes sitting here with old girl, before I was sitting here thinking about my divorce. And it went to show me that under pressure, I am a diamond. I am a diamond, and it's not just because I'm a Capricorn, I'm one of the goats, but I was a diamond, and I knew that I had a message that everyone needed to hear, and I didn't let anyone take away from that message. And so with doing that speech, with winning that competition, that opened up the doors. It was 3 years ago when I entered that competition and didn't know if I was going to win or not, came under lots of heat and pressure and still came out a diamond and winning. And it was then that I got all of the exposure. That it was then that it set me up for my next position, because I was working in one job and then I ended up moving into another job, which is in my current role, where I'm still able to speak to the masses. And so I sit there and I look at that moment. And the reason why I titled this Financial Freedom, because I wanted y'all to see what my definition of financial freedom is. And I wanted to ask you, just because we're in a time and it's a quarantine time, and I know it's a lot going on. And I don't know if y'all have ever thought about, what does financial freedom look like in your life? Sometimes we don't think past the now. When I was on that interview on last Friday, talking about wealth, talking about saving, and that's not something that we grow up even hearing. Now, for those of y'all that did grow up, lucky you, cool. But I wasn't one of those people who heard about that. And so that's something that my kids hear me talking about all the time. And I'm talking to them about it. Like, I make them work to get money and save their money and things like that. And so I want to know from you, like, what does financial freedom look like to you? Is that something that you want in your life? And if that is something that you want in your life, what are you going to do to make that come, to fruition? For me, I I didn't have a spending problem, because I don't know if you've ever been in a position where you just didn't make enough money. Like, I know sometimes people will say, oh, well, you do have to change your spending habits. Sometimes people do need to change their spending habits, but I was in a position where I just had an income problem. I didn't have enough money coming in. And so it was something just to see how I react under pressure and how I go out there and I had to go get something different. I was just like the Trey Songz, like his song, Just Gotta Make It. I did not play, y'all. When I tell y'all, I'm still in search of financial freedom. Right now, I'm better than I've ever been, but I still want to get to a place where I know that there's a place where I'll be even better. And so I ask y'all, I pose this question to you just because I want y'all to think about that, just because I want you to think more than just what's going on right now and know that you can do it. I don't know what that way is. I don't know what gift it is that you have. I don't know if you're in the position or you're in the role that you're going to be in that's going to lead you into that. That's something for you to think about, because that's something that I've thought about a lot. That's something that I created a whole speech around, and it's something that I base my life around right now, just because it was in that moment when I was being honest with myself and being truly authentic that I was able to get out this message and know that everyone needed to hear me talk about this particular thing. And this particular thing is, I love talking about finance, y'all, if you haven't noticed it. And I feel like there's a certain mindfulness that goes into thinking about your finances. And some people don't hear about financial matters from someone who looks like me, talks like me. And that was the reason why I did Mindfully Rich Podcast. And so in thinking about what financial freedom looks like to you, also think about some ways and how you can get there. I truly believe and you can manifest the things that you want if you speak it into your life. And so today I want to tell you, if you haven't already spoke this into your life or envisioned this for your life, I am, speaking financial freedom over everyone. Don't doubt yourself. Get out there and just think about what it is that you want and start going after those goals, just because all it takes is you to come up with it and then you to start making little movements towards getting whatever that goal is that you want. Just because I know that we all want more. So no matter what situation it is that you're in right now, and I know that may sound crazy, if you're unemployed right now, is this a thinking time for you to figure out what it is that you can do next? What passion projects haven't you got off the ground? What haven't you done? I told y'all that Mindfully Rich Podcast was a passion project for me. It was something that I have been trying to do, I want to say, for at least the last year. And I finally did it right before this quarantine started. So I don't know what it is that's going to lead you into the financial freedom that it is that you need. But I tell you what, if you start thinking about it now, you can improve where it is that you're going to end up later. And that's something that I really, really want y'all to think about. And so even with that story, although uncomfortable, I still came out a winner, but I came out a winner just because I had to keep persisting. So I don't know what it is that you may need to keep persisting towards today, but it's like I felt like I had this message that I needed to get out. You just have to start persisting towards that, and don't let anything stop you. Just like me in that story, y'all, when I did not want to get up there on that stage, or when I wanted to get up there on that stage, but I was still pissed off. But still ended up winning. And like I said, that set the tone for the woman that I am today, and the speaker that I am today, and all of the things that I'm able to gain just from the people who saw me that day and allowed me to enter their stages and be on their stages because of that thing that I did. So that's it on the topic, y'all. Just wanted to go on ahead and just put that out there. I don't want to, overtalk y'all. I can get up here and start preaching. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the 5-question game. I love this game, y'all. So what song am I feeling this week? And y'all, to be honest, It's not one song in particular. Like literally, I've been listening to a lot of old school R&B. Like I'm meaning LTD, Love Ballad, The Stylistics, Mine Oh Mine. What was it? The Isley Brothers, Don't Say Goodnight, Aretha, I Love You, Atlantic Star, Let's Get Closer. Y'all, these type of songs. This is what I've been on. I've been on some real old school because if I feel like if I want to invite love into my life, if I want to be loved, because that's what I'm trying to be, because the greatest thing in life is love, right? And so I felt like I had to go back to the originators who created love songs. And so that's what I've been on, and I'm loving it. Next, what shows am I feeling this week? So the season finale of Boomerang and 20s was this week, and y'all, it was so good. You just got to go check these shows out. I'll talk about them later. I got to have enough people that's watching them, so I just won't be sitting on here rambling. It's only 20 minutes. So go and check out the season finale for Boomerang and 20s. It's on BET. Big up to BET for having all this good content. But, it was supplied by Lena Waithe. She from the Chi, so of course, got to go up for her. And I've also been watching a lot of American Dad and Family Guy. Side note, American Dad and Family Guy and Cleveland Show, some of my favorite shows. Just saying. Just want to let y'all know. Besides, Marvel, all of the Marvel movies, just as a whole. So, what is grinding my gears this week? I'm going to tell y'all what. I only go out the house once a week. For the most part, it's once a week unless I just really need to get out the house. And the people who not adhering to the rules, like, don't be all up on me when I'm at the store. Like, back up off me. Like, it was a song back in the day when I was in Chicago, like when we used to call ourselves footworking, and we had something called juke music, and it was called back up off me, back up off me, back up off me. Yeah. That's what I be wanting to say. I be wanting to say that so much just because y'all already know what we dealing with. Why you so close to me? What's up with that? Like, that be pissing me off. So that's what's grinding my gears. And my gratitude moment, just still grateful that me and my kids are still well. We're still good. No illnesses have hit us. And I know that this is uncertain time. So I'm just grateful to still be in a position where I can provide, because it could have been me. Just letting you know, it could have been me. And I'm just glad that I'm still in a good spot. And I'm looking forward to more episodes of this podcast. Like I told y'all, I was a little down today, but I got back on it. I already recorded next week's episode, so I am really excited about it. So y'all come on back now. I'm also trying to reach 500 subscribers. And so this is the thing about how podcast works. Right now, people aren't listening to podcasts as much as they used to, just because many people have a rhythm for how they listen to podcasts, and it may be in their cars, and a lot of people aren't driving anymore like that. So y'all continue to make time, listen to the podcast. If you like it, make sure you send it to the people that you think could benefit from it. Send it to your circles. I appreciate all of y'all listening. Thank y'all so much. If you haven't already, follow me on IG. I'm at Mindfully Rich. And until next week, when I hit y'all with another one.